What's up, everyone? Just a lazy Sunday. Yeah, I had so many topics I wanted to touch on, but I was in the midst of dissecting the Luke Ford show, so I thought I would kind of take care of the high level stuff on that before I moved on to other topics, like historic right, the retardation of the alt right, just random shit that comes up on a daily basis. But I think the I talked about the plus and minuses of the Luke Ford show, and the third thing is just the people and the dynamics. I first came on and Kyle had he would have like 5 to 15 minute intro before KMG would regularly come on, and then Kyle kind of became the mainstream of the show. We still had like Brundlefly, Matt Vey, other people that would randomly sprinkle in, which was a cool dynamic. I was subjected to the peer pressure. Everyone hated Kyle. Kyle was a bad actor. He's a gaslighter. He doesn't argue in good faith. Blah blah blah. So yeah, I was biased from the beginning. But his arguments actually, maybe I'm in the minority on this. Maybe I'm like a 10% minority because the guy had so many haters. But in normie society, he would be the mainstream guy, more mainstream normie, and everyone else on that show would be the extremist. But it's interesting how the dynamics are flipped on that show and in that space, which is interesting, I think. That's one of the reasons why people were against me, because my more normie views were seen as objectionable. But yeah, Kyle was good. I always liked Brundlefly. I thought he was the most entertaining streamer. It was just his ideas, which were like, some of them were good, but he's pretty extreme on the JQ, and I don't know what the case was with him. Like, something didn't quite add up there. I mean, maybe his life is everything he says it was. Like, he's got a Jewish wife, but he secretly talks to Richard Spencer on the side, and has all these grievances with Jewish power. But I always felt like there was something missing in his story. Like, maybe his wife divorced him and had issues with his Jewish family. Like, who knows? But you can only take what somebody says at face value on the internet, I guess. I don't know. But he was super entertaining YouTuber, and him and Kyle going at it was probably the highlight of that show. It still was sort of happening every now and then, but when it was on the reg, it was more entertaining. And you had Matt Vey, he was entertaining too. But it's like everyone got offended at Kyle because I think in their worldview, he was the representation of this Jewish elitism that's at the core of why everything is messed up in society, right? So they started ragging on him, whether it be like Holocaust jokes or get your passport because you don't belong in this fucking country. Which, yeah, I mean, it was some pretty rude shit, but I mean, what do you expect online? But really, really good dynamic. Kyle won me over with his arguments for the most part, you know. And it's just hard to believe people were so offended by Kyle, but I think it's the way he came off. Everything was good about Kyle. His arguments, interesting. Like, people, whether you're a fan or a hater, like, everybody is drawn to see Kyle. One drawback was, like, come on, Kyle, you suck at blood sports, Like, you take the bait. you flip out on trolls. It's entertaining, but it's like, Brundlefly was right when he says, by the rules of the internet, I beat you. He said it in reference to this one time they had blood sports. Like, okay, even if you beat me on the points, you got triggered and upset. So by the rules of the internet, I win. And he's right, It's like, usually it doesn't matter who wins on the facts. Like, if you get triggered and flip the fuck out, which Kyle would always do, like, you lose the argument. But hey, it is what it is. It made it interesting. And then just to cast it's interesting. Luke has like Matt Forney. I thought he always had interesting takes, like a more reasoned, alt-right takes that were good and, you know, not psycho, like somebody like Norman. And then you have, what's his name, the guy from Japan, Colin Liddell. Always thought his takes were good too. And then you had Brundlefly to fight with him because you know how good looking and erudite Richard Spencer is. So a really cool dynamic. I like seeing all those ideas and people in the mix. Oh, and then, well, he wasn't on the show so much, but it was Melky from back in the day. Um, Melky's an enigma. I can make a whole video about that, but of course, he's the guy that was red pilled, whatever. He became based through Mein Kampf. College professor becomes based from Mein Kampf and Culture Critique. Can't make this shit up. Yeah, maybe I'll make a video about him one day, but needed to cover the bases on Luke Ford's show. Yeah, so it's like Melky, Brundlefly, Matt Vey form their own trad cat. They're not all Catholics, but whatever. The fuck does it matter? Trad Christian, Jesus obsessed, Jew hating circle. You know, it's just real interesting dynamics. Maybe I got to do a video about individuals because it's hard to make these videos that are so general when you're jumping around so much. But I'll do that in the future. I don't know. I don't feel like engaging in gossip about all these individuals all at once. So I'm a Kyle fan here. Big Kyle fan. I like all those guys going at it, but you know, I thought Kyle won the day overall. And when I said that on Twitter, I told Brundlefly, I was like, dude, you're a huge fucking troll. I'm a huge troll. Don't take anything I say seriously. So I remember I responded in one of the Kyle hating threads on Twitter. They would go after him. So many people would go after him on Twitter, insulting him. Everyone would try to bully Kyle. And I was the one guy who's like, hey, I think you guys hate Kyle because he BTFO'd you so many times, even though he did get too triggered by the insults. And yeah, I don't know, that got me kicked off Brundlefly's what do you call it, Discord. So I fucking told him, like, hey, I say dumb shit to get a reaction, so don't take offense. I think I said one time, like, I wanted to flood his neighborhood with Somali refugees. I can't remember if I said that, like, his neighborhood specifically, or I wanted to flood, like, white nationalist neighborhoods with Somali immigrants. Clearly a fucking joke, but yeah, these guys, like, ultimate edgelords. So it's kind of like, if you're going to be so edgy and make fun of the Holocaust and all this other shit and talk about gassing people, it's like, isn't the rule like, okay, that's kind of as extreme as it gets, so can't get offended when someone talks about flooding your neighborhood with Somali immigrants. Like, clearly it's trolling and a joke. But I think the extreme lashing out and trolling that these guys do, at the heart of it, a lot of time, or most of the time, is they're really upset about the way things are going. They feel put upon by the elites in our society, that they, like, somehow attributed to Kyle because he has a few passports and he speaks in this erudite manner, and Kyle's much more pro-elite than they are. So they feel put upon by people like this, or the real elites in society. So the Holocaust jokes as a way. These people are like triggered or upset about something. So you would think maybe they, since they're huge trolls, they wouldn't get triggered, but many of them do get triggered quite easily, which I found out. I tried to push those buttons, which was interesting. But yeah, interesting dynamics on that show. Like, I don't know if there'll ever be another space that I enjoy as much as that, Captured in Time back in the day, but hey, things are born, they exist, they die, and then something else forms in its place. So yeah, that's just kind of my off the cuff views. I'll make more videos about some of these freaky people in the future.